All right, let's just jump right in. We live in this world that's just obsessed with 5-year plans, right? With claiming the ladder. But what if that whole model is just broken? In this explainer, we're going to unpack a really powerful new way of thinking. It's all about escaping the pressure of those traditional goals and finding real freedom in a different approach. The tiny experiment.
So let's start with something I think we can all relate to. This intense, unspoken pressure to follow this one single straight path to success. You know the one I'm talking about. Perfect grades, dream job, promotion after promotion. But what happens when you get everything you thought you wanted and it still doesn't quite feel right?
I mean, can you imagine this? This is the exact question the author Anne-Laure Cunff's manager asked her when she quit her dream job at Google. Just think about that for a second. The amazing pay, the international travel, a clear path up the corporate ladder, the whole shebang. And yet, something was telling her it wasn't right. That one simple question, are you sure? It just perfectly captures that battle between the safe, expected path and the terrifying freedom of the unknown. And this really gets to the heart of the two completely opposite mindsets we're talking about. On one hand, you have the linear life. It's a predictable ladder where the whole point is to get to a safe, known destination. But the experimental life, it completely reframes everything. The path becomes this winding, interesting trail. It's not driven by predictability, it's driven by your own curiosity. And the goal? It's not a destination at all. It's the freedom you find on the journey itself.
So here's why that old linear model makes so many of us feel anxious and just unfulfilled. First, it creates so much fear, doesn't it? Any little step off the path feels like a total failure. It also pushes us into this toxic productivity, this burnout culture, where you actually feel guilty for taking a break. And it breeds competition, turning people who could be collaborators into rivals. And maybe the craziest part? It creates something called the Red Queen effect, from Through the Looking Glass, where you have to run faster and faster just to stay in the exact same spot. I mean, does that sound at all familiar?
Okay, so if that linear path is broken, what's the alternative? Well, it all starts with a pretty profound mental shift. You trade the illusion of control for the very real possibility of discovery. Now, to be clear, having an experimental mindset isn't about just throwing all your goals out the window. Not at all. It's about changing what we value. So instead of being laser-focused on these rigid outcomes, we focus on the process, on curious exploration. The goal becomes learning, not just achieving. A huge part of this is actually changing our relationship with time itself. Most of us live in what's called chronos time. That's the quantitative ticking clock. We see our days as a series of identical boxes we have to fill up. The focus is on getting more done. But the alternative is kairos time. This is qualitative. It's seeing life as this fluid stream of unique, unrepeatable moments. And the focus here isn't on doing more, but on being more present and making the most of the moment you're actually in. All right, this is where it gets really, really practical. We're going to move from the why to the how, with the single most powerful tool from this entire philosophy. This right here is a pact. It is the fundamental building block for your own personal experiments. It's basically a simple invitation to yourself to try something new and just see what you learn from it, whatever that might be. It's all designed to help you explore without that crushing pressure of having to get a specific result. And the format is just beautiful in its simplicity. I will do this action for this amount of time. That's it. So for example, the author's own pact was, I will write and share 100 articles in 100 workdays. But yours could be, I will paint for 15 minutes a day for a month, or I will try one new recipe a week for 2 months. The beauty is how non-intimidating it is. Success isn't about the final outcome. It's literally just about showing up. And this is a total game changer, especially when you compare it to a typical SMART goal. Think about it. A SMART goal is all about the outcome, right? Like get 5,000 subscribers. But a pact, it's all about your output. Publish 25 newsletters. See the difference? It's all about control. You can't actually force people to subscribe to your stuff, but you are 100% in control of whether you hit that publish button. So success isn't about the results you get. It's about what you do. Adopting this mindset does way more than just help you with your personal projects. It completely transforms how you deal with two of the biggest struggles in modern work, procrastination and perfectionism. So first up, let's tackle the one we all know and, well, the one we all put off dealing with, procrastination. What do you do when you just can't seem to get started on something you know you should be doing? This quote reframes everything.
What if procrastination isn't a sign of laziness? What if it's not some deep character flaw, but it's actually a valuable signal your brain is sending you, trying to tell you something really important? If that's true, it means we don't need to beat procrastination. We need to learn how to listen to it.
This simple tool, the triple check, is how you listen to that signal. When you find yourself procrastinating, you just ask 3 questions. First, the head check. Is this task even appropriate? Is this the smartest way to go? If the answer is no, you redefine your strategy. Second, the heart check. Is this task exciting to me? If not, you find a way to redesign the experience to make it more engaging. And finally, the hand check. Is this task actually doable for me? Do I have the skills? If not, you go find some support.
Okay, now for the other monster in the room, the pressure to be perfect. And who better to learn from than Shonda Rhimes, right? The creator of huge shows like Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton. Her point here is so brutally honest. You simply cannot be perfect everywhere at once. If she's killing it at work, she might be failing a little bit at home, and vice versa. And she says that is completely okay. And this leads to such a powerful idea: intentional imperfection. This is basically the antidote to burnout. It is a strategic choice to let some things be just good enough, so you can channel your energy and be truly excellent where it really matters most to you. It's all about aiming for long-term sustainable success, not that short-term fleeting idea of perfection. So you see, all these tiny experiments and these mindset shifts, they aren't just for you. They're building towards something much bigger. A life that isn't just more free, but one that's also more impactful and more connected to the world around you.
See, the end goal of an experimental life isn't really about building a legacy, that fixed, final monument to all your achievements. It's about something called generativity. And this is a powerful shift. You stop worrying so much about the mark you'll leave behind someday, and instead, you focus on the positive impact you can have in your communities, right here, right now.
And living this way really comes down to a few key practices. First, you do the work first. You create tangible proof of work instead of waiting for someone to give you permission. Second, you grow lateral roots, expanding your skills beyond just one narrow specialty. And finally, you prioritize real impact over how things look on the outside. In the words of the author Anna Quinlan, if it looks good to the world but does not feel good in your heart, it is not success at all. And that brings us right to the end, to the final, most important question. After hearing all of this, what's just one small, curiosity-driven pact you could make with yourself? Not to achieve some grand, massive goal, but just to learn something new. What's your first tiny experiment going to be?